For many Christians, 2 Peter 3:8 has become their leading commentary on Genesis chapter 1 and the days of creation. One day is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day, right? Thus the days of creation were 1,000 years long or more. But does 2 Peter 3:8 actually teach what they're saying? Notice, first of all, that Peter doesn't actually say, with God one day is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. The apostle actually wrote, "Beloved, do not forget this one thing, that with the Lord one day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day." Peter used a figure of speech known as a simile to compare a day to 1,000 years. It's not that one day is precisely equivalent to 1,000 years or vice versa. Rather, within the specific context of 2 Peter 3, one could say that they share a likeness. In 2 Peter 3, the apostle reminded Christians that scoffers would arise in the last days, saying, "Where is the promise of his, Jesus, coming?" In verse 7, Peter declared, "The heavens and the earth are reserved for fire until the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men." Regardless of what the scoffers alleged about the second coming, Peter wanted the church to know that the Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some count slackness, but is long-suffering toward us, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. Sandwiched between these thoughts is the fact that the passing of time does not affect God's promises, specifically the promise of his return. If Jesus promised to return 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, it's as good as if he made the promise 1 or 2 days ago. Indeed, with the Lord, one day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. With men, the passing of long periods of time generally affects their keeping of promises, but not with God. Time has no bearing on whether he will do what he said he would do. 1,000 years are like a day. Bible students should also consider the fact that Peter used the term day and the phrase 1,000 years. This in itself is proof that God is able to communicate to man the difference between one day and 1,000 years. For similes to make sense, one first must understand the literal difference between what is being compared. If there were no difference, then it would be meaningless to use such a figure of speech. What's more, within Genesis 1, God used the terms days and years. Many rightly have questioned if a day in Genesis is really 1,000 years or some other long period of time, then what were the years mentioned in Genesis 1? Such a definition of days makes a reasonable interpretation of creation impossible. The facts are, God knows the difference between a day and 1,000 years. Peter and Moses understood this difference. Their original audiences comprehended the difference. And any serious student today can do the same. Finally, even if 2 Peter 3:8 could be tied to the length of the creation days, which logically and biblically it can't, but even if it could, adding 6,000 years to the age of the earth would in no way appease evolutionary sympathizers. A person could add 600,000 years or even 600 million years and still not come close to the alleged age of the earth or the universe. According to evolutionary calculations, one would still be 13 plus billion years away from the Big Bang and 4 billion years this side of the formation of Earth. Truly, even an abuse of 2 Peter 3:8 will not help day-age theorists.